So the very first step that companies need to take is starting small. If you try to bite off the entire thing all at once, it can become overwhelmingly difficult and certainly could possess too much risk. Instead, it's those little everyday innovation bets. In other words, starting with little teeny projects, getting some points on the board, getting some creative momentum, and then carrying on to bigger things. Ultimately, the best practice here is that innovation is not a once-a-decade bet-the-farm monolithic approach. It's everyday innovation, building creativity as a daily habit, which is deployed throughout the organization on a very regular basis. Big disruptive change like the Uber of your industry is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we think of innovation that way, it becomes so difficult to attack. And when we put the weight of the world on our shoulders to have something so incredibly disruptive, our natural human nature stance is to avoid it, too big, too risky, and we end up doing nothing. Nothing wrong with big breakthroughs, but I would encourage leaders to pursue those little breakthroughs, little acts of everyday innovation. It could be the way that you run your Monday morning team meeting, the way that you greet a new customer when they walk into the credit union. It could be a new product or service, but it doesn't even have to be. It could be an internal process. Those little everyday innovation bets add up to big things and can drive meaningful progress and growth in our credit unions. It doesn't have to be a game changer to be valuable. There's a real myth in creativity. We think that 1 out of 1,000 of us are born creative and the rest of us have to suffer. The research couldn't be further from that. In fact, the research is crystal clear. All of us as human beings have enormous creative capacity. And we don't have to have a creative type job title to deploy creativity. The biggest blocker, therefore, is not natural talent, it's fear. Fear is that poisonous force that robs us of our best thinking. If you want to truly leverage the natural resource of human creativity in your credit union, my advice is simply this: create a safe environment. Too many organizations put platitudes in their lobby. They say, we celebrate innovation and creativity. But when someone shows up with a crazy idea, they are sharply punished for doing so. Instead, as leaders, the best thing that we can do is create a safe environment where all ideas are celebrated, good and bad. We need to know that it's going to take several missteps to get to those breakthroughs that we seek. So if we want to tap into that artery of opportunity that lives inside our credit unions, create a safe environment, celebrate ideas, let them come forward good and bad, and before you know it, you'll have an overwhelming amount of fresh creativity.